Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PrepUp. So today we're going to do a very interesting topic, which is called argumentative writing. Now, a little bit on argumentative writing. So now, what exactly do we do? Because usually people, students have seen are scared of argumentative writing because they believe that it's very complex. But now the bad news is you can't get away with it because now it's been made a compulsory question. Okay. So now what exactly? So I'm not scaring you. It's very, very easy. Honestly, it's very easy. With argumentative writing, there is something which is called discursive writing. I hope most of you know that, but if not, then we will be revising it a little bit. Okay. Now, argumentative writing, as the name suggests, okay, argumentative writing, okay, it's an argument, of course. It's an argument, but a very healthy, decent one. Okay. And there is something which is called discursive writing. Okay. Discursive writing will be done later, but this is just to show you what exactly is argumentative writing. Most of the students believe that it's similar, but it's not similar. There are a lot of differences. When you have to deal with argumentative writing, you have to keep certain things in mind. And discursive writing has certain, like what do we say, certain rules that you have to follow. That is antithesis and thesis statement and stuff like that. Okay. So now, right now, we are dealing with argumentative writing. And what is that? Now, obviously, it is an argument. Now, remember that when you are arguing with someone, it is always that it does not have to be something which is like there is a speech overlap and you try to win over the conversation. No, you don't do that. Okay. It's just that in an argument, there is someone who's taking a side, has a side or a belief, and you have your own beliefs. Okay. And then probably one of them is going to win. Okay, one of you is going to not win because it's not a win-win situation. It's basically it's where somebody is going to persuade the other person and say that I'm right. Okay. And maybe the other person might be persuaded and accept the other side. Okay. So in an argumentative writing, we have two sides, which is basically, so let's rub this, let's erase discursive. Okay. So an argumentative writing, we have we have an idea which is probably an issue where you can go for and you can go against. Okay. Now, for and against is something which is very important. You're not on any side right now. In an argumentative writing, you just cannot take any side. So, how to prove it? Okay. So, in order to prove it, you will start giving evidences or maybe stats. You can give any particular fact. Okay. So these are the things that can be discussed in both in order to persuade or convince. For example, if somebody says fast food is bad, okay, fast food is not good for health. Okay. So you have all the things that are against it. It's unhealthy and stuff like that. But obviously there must be someone, and we love fast food, isn't it? So what is the evidence? It's like it's tasty. All right. It tastes good. All right. So you can say that it tastes good. And secondly, you can talk about its taste. You can talk about the money, the convenience. There's so many factors that can come for it. Okay. So for that, you're not going to say, I think it's tasty. All right. You would say that people believe and why people are mad about it, like crazy for fast food, is because it tastes great. Secondly, why? Because sometimes it happens that you're unable to cook food for yourself. So it's very easy, all right, inexpensive as well and easy, convenient. So you can talk about that of how people think it is, okay? And same is with against is where you would say that I've seen people suffering from obesity, blood pressure, and obviously this diabetes. So you can talk about things which is like against fast food, okay? So now we are talking about right now, for example, we are talking about fast food, okay? So do you get an argumentative question where there is a extract that's given to you where two people are talking about fast food. One is for it and the other one is against it. Now, what you're supposed to do is that you will be picking up points from there and writing your argumentative piece. Okay. Now, how exactly? So before that, before we go to the question of this is the new syllabus, I would like to show you a sample, okay, of how exactly argumentative writing is done. Okay. So now there is a topic which is, for example, have you ever heard of fashion shows? Okay. Fashion shows where products or where there are people who walk on the ramp and they are basically advertising and trying to sell their products. There are big names, there are big brands that are selling their product. Okay. Similarly, we have fashion shows. We also have beauty contests. Now, why am I taking these ideas? Beauty contests. I'll tell you why. Okay. Now, mostly people feel that fashion show is for selling product. Beauty contest is basically to know who's the most beautiful. Okay. People think that this is basically objectifying human beings. Okay. And it is not something that should be glorified. Okay. Beauty pageants are people who actually there's a competition to see that who is more beautiful. But in the end, there's a question which is considered to like demarcate or maybe to find out who is brainy as well. Okay. So now here there are people who are completely against it. There are certain people who would say that it should be done, but obviously it should not be completely banned, because it's generating a lot of revenue, providing employment. So there are facts which will say for, there are for, and there are against. There are certain people who say that when you are actually showing a beauty contest, I'm not saying it, okay? When you're showing a beauty contest, it actually tells people how is it that you can, it's basically creating those beauty standards. Some people believe that the society needs those beauty standards for people to follow. Certain people would say, what are beauty standards? This is not fair. Okay, let us be. So there could be several arguments that can be done. Okay, now in this particular part, what happens is we will mention points for, and then we will mention points that are against. Okay, and in the end, when we conclude, we are only then are we going to come and present our opinion. It could be for, it could be against, or it could be something somewhere in the middle. Okay. So this is how argumentative writing is done. So I'll show you a sample first. For example, this is a text. Okay. And I hope you all can read it. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? The topic is, should beauty contests be banned? Okay. Now, this is basically a question which actually asks us to either go for, against, or maybe take a third opinion. Okay, form a third opinion. Discursive writing, however, focuses on one statement, and throughout you will go in a cyclical manner and you'll try to justify whatever is being said. But in argumentative writing, you need to be very, very careful. For example, careful. Obviously, you have to be careful in discursive writing too. But here it is, there's something where you will actually create a particular stance. Okay. Now, if you could see, it says, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? This is a well-known line from a fairy tale. We know that it's from Snow White. Okay. Now, this person who is writing this essay has taken this particular line to show that how is it, because it was the evil queen who was very obsessed that she wanted to stay young and beautiful, and therefore she used to, obviously she was the evil queen and she was the witch, so she would do anything in order to make sure that she stayed the most beautiful. But one day the mirror says that it's Snow White, so that's too devastating, and therefore she asked one of her soldiers to go and kill her, but he couldn't do that. So that's a completely different story. So it's basically here, this particular line is taken to show the obsession of obviously mankind for being the most beautiful. Okay. So this is basically where it says, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? This is basically an idea which is presented to show the obsession of human beings with beauty. Why would they do that? Now, here the person says, yet it can also be seen. Okay. That, for example, now, yet it can also be seen. You can easily see that the person has the other side also and says that it's a reflection of the world's preoccupation with vanity. So this is the idea where people are preoccupied with the idea of vanity. But then he has the other side. Why am I saying that he has the other side in mind? because he says so many people. Okay, my stylus doesn't work here. Okay, so many people and so many people over here. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now here, so many people. It's not everyone. It's so many people, because you will be generalizing if you write everybody thinks like that, and people would not like it. So in an argumentative writing, you need to balance it. Okay, so many people balances it, and then there are a set of rhetorical questions. Is there anything wrong with it, with this? Must a mirror give us a reflection? So can you see that continuously the writer is maneuvering us, directing us towards a particular side, which is that, is it good or bad? Okay, but is not jumping into the idea or into the introduction, but making people ponder over what is being said. So this is a typical introductory paragraph, which actually tells us that you don't have to give an opinion. You can start with obviously that it can be an allusion, which is allusion is ALLUSION, when you take a reference of any particular famous story or fairy tale or maybe a personality. Okay, so here the writer has chosen a style where the writer has actually elaborated the idea of how is it that people are obsessed with beauty, but then with a set of rhetorical questions. What are rhetorical questions? Is to show that what are rhetorical, which need not be answered, but it actually inculcates a thought in the mind of the reader. So it actually makes people think, is that so? All right. So now, obviously, first talking about how beauty has become an obsession, but do you think it's really important? That's a typical introduction of an argumentative writing. Okay. All right. I hope I'm clear. So we will move on to the next part, which is the second, the second paragraph. The second paragraph is talking about beauty contest. It can be argued. Now, can you see that the writer is very careful? Instead of saying beauty contests have long lasting impacts or effects, okay, had the writer erased this particular line, it can be argued. All right. Now, when the if just say it, just see, beauty contests have long lasting effect. It seems to be very suggestive. But by adding this, the writer has said that I am not suggesting it, but there are certain people who can do that. Okay. So, and here what the writer says is basically that it can have a positive impact on people who are very image conscious, who want to be like presentable. They're going for job interviews, and obviously, in order to be presentable, they were looking at these women who are the beauty pageants and would be saying that I would also like to be, I would like to look good. Okay. And there it has actually given the example of NBC television channel in America, which shows that how is it that girls are being taught how to walk, how to talk, and behave ladylike. We can easily see that this particular part is strictly, okay, saying for beauty contests. Okay. So and obviously the writer is not involving at all. Okay, not giving any opinion at all. Secondly, third paragraph. Now we go ahead and see that the writer is now using a connector. A connector is, however, when a connector is being used, that shows that it is going to change the stance. Okay. Again, it says opponents. Okay. Now this basically it says that opponents of beauty contest. Okay. Now, opponents of beauty contests, so it does not, again, it does not generalize. It does not say everybody believes it. It's just the people who are opposing beauty contests. This is what they feel, because obviously sometimes people become very, very obsessed, and this is for particularly the mothers who have become so obsessed that even kids are exploited in beauty contests. So such contests should be completely banned. Okay. And obviously, there is a documentary. Again, the evidence given that there is a documentary, Life in Showbiz, is how children are extremely upset and depressed because of this beauty contest. Okay. And then obviously, we can easily see it is against. Done. Okay. The last part. Now, the last part is basically where We see now this is a typical way of writing. Okay, the last part says one of the major issues associated with beauty contest is the type of negative self-image it can foster in participants. Now you can see this is basically the conclusion, and the writer is now giving an opinion. Okay, and now it is not something where some people believe, mostly people believe. It says that this is what is happening. Okay, so now here this is the conclusion, and we can easily see that the writer says that it can foster a negative self-image, and it cannot be. And secondly, you cannot judge beauty because beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. You must have heard this line that for everyone, beauty is different. Therefore, the diversity that God has created for everyone, beauty is different. So you cannot generalize beauty. So what? And secondly, and another thing is, if somebody loses the inferiority complex that out of 100 beauty pageants, for example, the 100 beauty pageants participating, one of them wins because always a winner is always one. What about those 99 beauty pageants? Okay, so it's inculcating that inferiority complex. So now what the writer has decided that do not ban it. Okay, now comes the opinion. If they were controlled, it should be controlled. It should embrace all kinds of beauty, okay, physical and spiritual. And that is where you see that the writer is not taking any side, but is now giving a third opinion. Okay, third opinion, that you can hold beauty contest, but ethically it should be right. Okay, it should have a controlled controlled ways, so that nobody feels bad. And yet it provides business that's already been said. So this is how a typical argumentative writing is done. Okay, so when you join the class, you will be now we will be this is something that we did a bit superficially. Okay, and this is something that is the key to your guided writing question. Okay, so you guys have to be very, very strong in argumentative and discussive. So in the next class, we'll be discussing discussive writing, because that is has a completely different format. It has a completely different approach as well. Okay, so thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the class. See you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.